Radio Voces Latinos, 1610 AM. A drink of water with Joyce, Aldrich. Refresh your mind.
Well, it's 0 degrees at 8:02 here on CHHA 1610 AM. I'm Joyce Aldrich, and you're listening to another edition of A Drink of Water. Yeah, it's the first day of spring. Wouldn't think so, as we see all those minuses across the board. But you know what? I understand mid-April, which is not too far away. Let's say in 3 weeks, the temperature's going up. We're going to have a little bit of a slow swing into spring. But tonight in studio I have Elizabeth Spevack, who is the founder of Heart and Soul Living, and she's going to be talking about how she helps women break through the barriers of fear and self-doubt and, just keeping them stuck. And she inspires people to pursue that, the dreams that people have and to live a truly heartfelt and soulful life. So stay tuned for that. But first we're going to hear a little bit of uplifting music from Elsa McCreary. This is The Best Things in Life Are Free, and certainly theme for tonight's program.
The moon belongs to everyone. The best things in life are free. The stars belong to everyone. They gleam there for you and me. The flowers in spring, the robins that sing, the sunbeams that shine, they're yours, they're mine. And love can come to everyone. The best things in life are free. La lune, c'est à tout le monde. On n'a pas besoin d'argent. La science, c'est là pour tout le monde. On n'a pas besoin d'argent. Les fleurs de printemps, les oiseaux qui chantent, ces belles choses sont tout pour moi, pour vous. And love, it can come to anyone. The best things in life are free. And the best things in life are free. And certainly when you listen to radio, hey, that's a free service. You just turn your radio on, and here we are at CHHA 1610 AM. And for those of you who are listening to us online, welcome from all around the world and the GTA and New Brunswick. We know you're listening to. Anyway, so happy to have you, Elizabeth Spevack, in studio with us tonight, because I read your book and I thought you were writing it for me.
Well, thank you so much, and it's such a pleasure to be here.
It's such a pleasure to have you. Faith over fear. Time to stop hiding and start living. I know a lot of listeners will probably say, yeah, that's me. Let's hear all about it. Yeah, and
you are a champion for mental wellness. So let's talk a little bit about that. How did you become a champion for mental wellness?
That is a long story that I will keep brief for right now. But it definitely has a lot to do with my own personal experiences. When I was in high school, kind of just, in a way, it felt like it hit me all of a sudden. I felt all of a sudden like my notes had to be perfect, like the letters had to be shaped perfectly, and if they weren't, I would cross out the letters and rewrite, or erase it if it was in pencil and rewrite, and I really had no idea what was going on, but I knew that I felt like I needed to do it, and that it was becoming disruptive, and that was the first of the symptoms that I remember, and then a couple of years later there were other symptoms that started showing up. One in particular, when I would be saying my prayers, I felt like they had to be done perfectly, and it started taking longer and longer. And with anxiety, a lot of people say, well, pray and have faith and like that will help, but actually prayer is one of the big things that was causing me the anxiety.
Sure.
So that made me feel even worse about it. So there were definitely a lot of tears that I was crying behind closed doors that I was so ashamed to share with anyone else. I didn't tell anyone outside of my immediate family that I had anxiety and obsessive compulsive disorder, which the symptoms with the prayer and with the erasing and rewriting was OCD, and I didn't even know that for years and years. I kind of self-diagnosed when I heard a mental health professional being interviewed on the radio one time, and he was talking about how in most people's minds, you know, like if you want to turn the heat off on the oven, for example, you turn it off, and then it's like a switch in the brain. It's like, okay, done. But in a mind with someone with OCD, often that switch doesn't get flipped like that. It's like, oh, did I do it? I'm not sure. Let me check.
Keep checking over and over again, yeah.
Exactly.
And don't rituals become developed over and over again?
Exactly.
You develop these rituals.
Exactly. And then even if at one point you kind of, in quotation marks, resolve or put aside a certain ritual, you kind of get past it. But if the main underlying cause isn't addressed, then just a new ritual will appear in a different area, which is what happened to me. So it was many, many years that I was crying and keeping it secret. Like I felt like I should be able to resolve this on my own. Like I didn't even want to go see someone to talk, like a therapist or anything, because I felt no, I should be able to do this myself. Except that I wasn't able to.
Well, that is often the big mistake, and I'll say it as a mistake, or because when a person has any kind of mental health or mental illness or disorder or whatever, you know, for the person, you see, that's who you are. So you think, there's nothing really wrong with me. I should be able to fix this. And people looking at people who have this kind of thing, anything to do with mental health or illness, disabilities, disorders, you know, they look at you and say, oh, yeah, well, I understand that. Well, doesn't everybody go through that once in a while and all of this kind of thing? But it's an invisible thing. So people really have trouble getting a handle on it. And the stigma that surrounds it is incredible. Because they say, well, why can't just get over it? You know, chin up. You know, oh, you'll be okay. Just all the things people say that are so diminishing
And you know, like even if people would compliment me about some area of my life, I was convinced they were only complimenting me because they didn't actually know me. And by knowing me, I meant, well, they didn't know about the OCD and the anxiety. And in my mind, for years and years and years, I felt that if they would know about that, they would think less of me. Or I was worried about what they would think of me. And in a way, it's a good thing. In a way, maybe it's not such a good thing. I'm not sure. But I was able for a long time to put a smile on my face, go out and do what I needed to do. And then behind closed doors, cry because I was so frustrated and at wit's edge. And I'm sure like if people really paid attention to some of my behavior, some of those rituals probably shone through. But overall, I would like put a smile on your face, do what you need to do. And then when you get home, behind closed doors.
And yet, with something like that, it's trying to find your authentic self, which is really tough to do because you're saying, is my authentic self this person who's this OCD person, or is it that person who really does smile at people, is really nice, and people will see something in you and they'll think, he seems so normal, you know, and that probably is true. That's part of your authentic self, but it's sort of in between those two places, you know?
Exactly, because I'm very grateful, and it has amazed me sometimes over the years how many people have told me, you're so calm, or you're so calming to be around. And like you said, that's definitely part of who I am. But sometimes at those same moments when they were saying, oh, you're so calm, my mind was going 1,000 miles a minute.
I want to shriek, man. I want to yell, do a primal scream, you know.
Exactly. Exactly, but it sounds like, okay, I'm happy that you don't see that.
Well, exactly. Well, speaking of places, there are better places,
Yes.
and you found each other. You and Monty, you're newlywed.
Yes, yeah.
You are. And this is a song, and you didn't think you'd really get married, did you? Or were you sort of thinking, when's it going to happen? Or
Well, after a while, because I got married a little bit older than most of my friends, let's put it that way. So I don't know that I gave up hope, but after a while, it was definitely like, is this going to happen? When's this going to happen? And
yeah. So this is a song he sang you when he proposed to you,
Yes,
was it?
and
at your wedding. Yeah. Oh my gosh, everyone's gonna cry. Get your Kleenexes out. Actually, I think it's tears of happiness and joy. It's always wonderful when people find each other and then they're soulmates. Yes. I think you are.
Thank God, yes.
Amen to that. Okay, this is Better Place. This is Monty Solomon singing.
Tell the world I'll sing the song. It's a better place since you came along. Since you came along. Your touch of sunlight through the trees. Your kisses are the ocean breeze. Things are right when you're with me. And you're my favorite thing. All the love that you bring. Well, it feels like I've opened my eyes again, and the colors are golden and bright again. There's a song in my heart, I feel like I belong. It's a better place since you came along. It's a better place since you came along. I see the whole world in your eyes. It's like I've known you all my life. We just feel so right. So I pour my heart into your hands. It's like you really understand. Love the way I am. And you're my favorite thing. All the happiness you bring. But it feels like I've opened my eyes again, and the colors are golden and bright again. And the sun paints the skies and the wind sings her song. It's a better place since you came along. It's a better place since you came along. Everything's alright, 'cause it feels like I've opened my eyes again, and the colors are golden and bright again. There's a song in my heart, I feel like I belong. It's a better place since you came along. It's a better place since you came along.
And that's Better Place, Monty Solomon. And in studio we have Elizabeth Spevack, who is the founder of Heart and Soul Living. We're going to hear more from her after these messages, and she'll show you how to get to a better place.
You are listening to CHHA 1610 AM, Radio Voces Latinas, Canada's first ethnic and community radio station, owned and operated by San Lorenzo Latin American Community Center. Central studios are located at 22 Wenderley Drive in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Postal code is M6B2N9. Telephone number is 416-782-2953.
You are listening to Radio Voces Latinas, 1610 AM. A drink of water.
by mine in the salon, where Kim cuts our hair real nice, real nice. Hey, cinema girl, you're quite a vision. Won't you tell your secret? She said, every day I make a promise to myself, and every day I keep it. I keep it. I jump in the sandbox, jump in the sandbox, jump in the sandbox every day and play. Hey, cinema girl, you wrote the movie, gave yourself the best part. She said, I knew no one would hand me my power, so I took it and I worked from my heart, straight from my heart, and I jumped in the sandbox, jump in the sandbox, jump in the sandbox every day and play. I'm the star of my own movie, 'cause no one else does justice to me. When I jump in the sandbox, jump in the sandbox, jump in the sandbox every day. Jump in the sandbox, jump in the sandbox, jump in the sandbox every day. Hey, cinema girl, I loved your movie. That's how I broke the ice.
And if you're just tuning in now, you're listening to CHHA 1610 AM, A Drink of Water. I'm Joyce Aldrich, and I have the wonderful Elizabeth Spevack in studio with me, who wrote the book. May not have written a movie, but who knows? Elizabeth, this just may be a book that will be made into a movie.
Yes.
You know, I read the book, and I love the book. It's, and I thought, like I said, you were writing it for me. And the thing is, your journey, you know, you talk about, I was just listening to Cinema Girl, how you took your own power, because, you know, you did something finally that was fit for you, you know, and you graduated from CHHA, you got an MBA, and you're a clever lady, and you did a lot of stuff, you did corporate, and, or whatever, you know, you were in
Business world.
the business world, and but in your book, you talk about how every time you turned around, it just didn't seem to be the right fit. There was something that always was just a little out of sync there, you know? And then you finally took that plunge. So how did that happen?
Oh, it was, like you said, I got my business degree, my bachelor's and master's in business, and I was working in marketing. And I don't know if it was one day I woke up or slowly over time, I really started feeling like the job I was doing, while it was amazing in many ways, and where I was working was amazing opportunity and people, it just didn't feel like it was my job. It didn't feel like what I was meant to be doing for the rest of my working life or the rest of my life.
Right.
And
it was a job.
It was a job. It was good. It was
you go to
amazing.
work, you get a paycheck, it's a job, it's secure.
Exactly. But there was something that I felt really deeply within me that was missing. Like I was meant to be doing something else. But the time between having that feeling and actually having a clue what that something else might be took a while. Took detours. Even when I was working at that first job after university, and then I got another job after, and it was really bizarre because one day I told someone, you know what, I obviously don't want to get let go from this job, but if I would, like, I'd be okay. I'd figure it out.
Sure.
And the next day I got let go from my job. I was like, okay, that's just a little weird.
Yeah.
And then I was working at another job, and I was doing my training. I was finishing up my life coach training at that time. And it just wasn't working, like working full time and working on this program. I was like, well, maybe I should defer the program. And then I started seeing signs that, well, maybe this job I'm working at isn't going to last so much longer. And within 2 weeks, I got my 2 weeks notice.
Interesting, eh?
Okay, the second time that happened. And then I finished up my training, and I got another temp job. And like that extended and extended. And one day, like, I wasn't feeling well, and I was home, and I was thinking, you know what, I really miss coaching in my life. I have to figure out how to bring coaching back into my life.
Yes.
And the next day, I went into work, and I hadn't been there more than half an hour. And the manager said, can I see you for a few minutes? And she's like, yeah, we can't afford to pay half of you right now. So, like, today's your last day here. I'm like,
Hasta la vista.
Hasta la vista. I'm like, whoa, that was like 3 times I was kind of putting coaching on the back burner. And 3 times it's like a hammer on the head telling me, Elizabeth, hello.
And your book is called Faith Over Fear. So
Yes.
there is, somebody says, underlying all is the faith that each step is being orchestrated from
Yes.
above, whether or not we can see how all the pieces fit together in that moment.
Exactly.
It's like around the corner, there may be something waiting for people, and they don't even realize it. Once they take that plunge, there it is. It
Exactly.
may take a while, it may be right away.
Exactly. And even when you take that first step, it's really about, because, you know, when I took that first step, I had no idea where it was going to go. And even now, it's like a journey in front of me, and I don't know exactly how things are going to work out, like with the coaching and things like that. But it's about taking that first step, even if you're afraid. I mean, like, even you, like, sitting here, I was very excited to have this opportunity. But, you know, for a lot of people, speaking is something that causes fear. But it's like, you know what? This is something that's really important to me, and I'm going to do it anyway. And there's been a lot of that over the years. Well, this is kind of scary, but I need to do it. Like, I feel like I'm meant to do it.
Absolutely.
And, like, for me, one of my biggest measures of success is, can I look myself in the mirror? Like, do I feel like deep in my heart I'm doing the right thing? Which doesn't mean I always get things right. It doesn't mean I never make mistakes
None
or
of
anything
us
like
do.
that. Doesn't mean that.
We're on the same page there.
Exactly.
No one's perfect.
Exactly. Just, like, hopefully, like, more often than not. And the intention is to do the right thing. To do the right thing and to do what's right for me as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you are doing the right thing. And this book is available on Amazon. Let's get people going there. Can they get it through your website?
Actually, it's not through the website, but they can.
No, but can they contact you to
can
get the
contact
book?
me, yes.
So that's heartandsoulliving.com.
Yes.
And that's with an AND, so heartandsoulliving.com if you want to go take a look at Elizabeth Spevack's website. But this is also is it on Amazon?
Yes,
I think it is on Amazon.
.ca.com.
Okay, great. So Faith Over Fear, Elizabeth Spevack. Just look up Faith Over Fear. What a wonderful read. I really enjoyed it. We've got to go to break.
Okay.
It goes really fast here, but we're going to be coming back with a little bit more music, and then we'll be talking more about how you are helping people to get out of that rut. Got to talk about that. Okay, here we go. Break.
CHHA 1610 AM.
You are listening to Radio Voces Latinas, 1610 AM. A drink of water.
It's 8:30 here at CHHA 1610 AM. I'm Joyce Aldrich, and I'm here in studio with Elizabeth Spevack, who is a life coach. And just before we went to break, we talked a little bit about how it is you help people. And I see on your website says, if you are ready, that's important, if you're ready, let me help you make a change. So if someone calls you, how do you do it? And do you deal just with women, or are men welcome to? Are you mostly work with women, or
Primarily women.
primarily
by far.
women?
Primarily women, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we would have, it's primarily through conversation and giving exercises to work on between conversations.
Yes.
Because sometimes it's really nice to have that time and space where someone's just like really listening to you, and it's really not about my telling someone what they need to do. It's about helping them, I guess you could say, figure it out. for themselves, like really tap in to
Hear
some of
themselves talk out loud and
Exactly.
come to that conclusion.
Exactly.
Go,
They give themselves time to think. Time and space to think, because sometimes like, things get so loud and noisy and busy, and sometimes all we really need is just some quiet space. And when you have that quiet space with someone who's really listening and helping you tune into that deep place and giving you tools and exercises and questions for reflection, it can make such a huge difference. And I know when I've been on the receiving end of that, like when I've been coached by someone else and they ask you these questions, like when I was trying to figure out, for example, whether I should even get into this line of work, someone asked me a question that really crystallized it for me.
Yeah.
She asked, and I ask this question to clients a lot, she asked me, like, if you try this and it works, like if you try this, how would you feel? And I felt amazing and empowered and like, wow, the sky's the limit. Whatever happens, as long as I try. And then she asked, let's say it's 20, 30 years from now and you're looking back and you haven't tried. How would you feel?
Oh.
And I felt so empty, even just imagining that feeling has stayed with me since then. And because it was so powerful for me, it's a type of question, one example of a type of question that I would ask other people as well. Because sometimes, like there was someone I was working with and she was in a situation that she didn't really want to stay in, but she felt guilty. She's like, well, I told him I would help with this. Like, I can't really back out now. I kind of have to stay here and just keep doing this. And it's like, so imagine it's like 10 years from now and you're still doing this because you couldn't say no.
No. Big boundaries have to be made.
Exactly.
And set them up.
Exactly. And I'm not saying it's easy. For sure, some of these moments can be challenging. Like if you're making a major life change in any way, it could be very challenging. But that doesn't mean that you don't try and make them anyhow, if it's the right thing to do at the right time.
Even
like,
incrementally, just slowly plant some
step
seeds.
by step.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be all at once, and usually it's probably better if it is, like you said, step by step, plant seeds and water it and help it grow. And then with time, like there'll be the external results, but also maybe even more importantly, you're making yourself more and more ready. And I've seen that in my life time and time again, where, you know, like 10 years ago, there were things I couldn't have even imagined. But when you take that first step and that second step and that third step and you keep moving forward, eventually when you look back, it's like, wow, look how far I've come.
Well, it's huge because personally, when I was 24, someone said, why don't you just go to university and get your degree? And I said, I'm too old. I said that. I went when I was a little late, like older, but then I decided to have a family, and then I didn't get my degree. And then it was like, and then time went on, and then it was in my 30s, and it was in my 40s, and then it was like, well, and then it was like, well, why didn't you go through and become a psychologist? You could do this. And I think, but no, that's like 4 years of my life, and I know how am I going to live? And you know, and you go on, and now I'm 62, and I'm thinking, if I had done, you know, I'm sure people are like that. Look at all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas.
Absolutely.
And so can you help people at 62 to sort of say, okay, you know, to realize their, you know, to at least live some of their dream? Is it too late for people?
Not too late,
Is it ever too late?
It's never too late. And that's part of what the book is about as well, because there are many areas in my life where I was thinking, well, that was just a waste of time. Like, I just made a stupid mistake at that time, or a decision that I wish I could take back, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was beating myself up over it, because, like, I should have taken this fork in the road instead of that. And then as I was writing the book, like, I really believe that, like I said, like, everything is from God, everything is divine hand.
There's a reason for everything.
There's a reason for everything.
Totally.
But knowing that doesn't mean that I always feel that deep within. Sometimes the feeling of it is harder. But when I was writing the book, I really saw how some of those pieces fit together. And, like, it made me tear up numerous times while I was writing it, because, like, wow, like, I thought that was a waste of time. I thought I'd wasted years of my life. But no, it was all part of some plan that I still don't fully understand. So when you're asking me, like, 62 too late, no, because every experience that you've had until now brought you to who you are today, to make you ready to take that next step.
Well, you know, when I was 18, I went to Seneca to study radio and television arts. And something personal tragically happened, and I could only do the first semester, and I was doing really well. And my program director said, "You're leaving?" I said, I can't stay.
And I never went back. And I dearly, dearly, dearly wanted to do radio, television, blah, blah, blah. And, it's amazing. What am I doing right now?
Exactly.
You
You're
know,
doing radio.
I'm doing radio, and I also had a television show on Rogers for 4.5 years. In my 40s, and now in my 60s. Like for the last 9 years, I've had this show. So it's like it does happen. It's like above Hashem or God or however you see him, Allah, however you talk about the divine. It's all a spark that's in us. It's all, we have our potential, we have our mission, and how is sometimes we may not take the right road, and and that's okay. It straightens out eventually.
And it may even have been the right road.
It may exactly.
Like in the divine perspective, maybe it was the right road, and we just don't think it was.
Maybe we weren't ready to didn't have the experience to be in the position we want to be in, and to get something fruitful out of it. Oh my gosh, it's just such an amazing thing, isn't it? But if we look at it that way, then we have, I think we in Jewish call it amuna, and which is like to have that like blind faith, basically say, you know what, whatever happens, there's a good reason for this. And a lot of people believe that, in different cultures and beliefs, that they say, there's a reason for everything.
Exactly.
I mean, even atheists say there's a reason for everything. And I think that's great. Listen, I want to play a couple of songs before we go out to break.
Okay.
I want to play one. I'd like to play another one by your darling husband, your beloved, and that one is called All of Me. And can you set that one up for me?
Sure. There's a few aspects of that. On one of our first dates, we went to see the movie Sing, and one of the characters in the movie was singing that song, so it kind of became a song of ours at that time.
Aww.
And it's about how we're bringing all of ourselves to our relationship with each other, and also how we're bringing all of ourselves into our lives. Like when I called my business Heart and Soul Living, it's because I want to live my life with heart and soul and help others do the same.
Beautiful.
So it's about bringing all of ourselves into our day-to-day lives.
I love that. So it's an inspirational tune, and it's followed by a lovely love song by Melanie Peterson called Fingers Crossed. So we'll listen for the next little while to Monty Solomon singing All of Me, and Melanie Peterson after that with Fingers Crossed. So enjoy and think about, while you're listening to this, what you would like to do, where you want to go. And of course, and check out heartandsoul.com while you're listening to this as well. And here we go. All of Me, Monty Solomon.
What would I do without your smart mouth, drawing me in and kicking me out? Got my head spinning, no kidding, I can't pin you down. What's going on in that beautiful mind? On your magical mystery ride, and I'm so dizzy, don't know what hit me, but I'll be alright. My head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine. You're crazy and I'm out of my mind. 'Cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning, even when I lose I'm winning. So give you all of me, you give me all of you. How many times do I have to tell you, even when you're crying, you're beautiful too. The world is beating you down, I'm perfect imperfections. Give your all to me. Give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning. Even when I lose, I'm winning. Give you all of me. You give me all of you. Give me all of you. Cards on the table, we're both showing hearts. Risking it all, though it's hard. 'Cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me. Give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning. Even when I lose, I'm winning. Give you all of me. You give me all of you. I give you all of me. You give me all of you.
I never thought I'd love again, but when I look at you, the room begins to spin. You found me on my knees, stretched out your hand, you helped me stand. That's why I got my fingers crossed behind my back, got butterflies in my eyes. Now I got my fingers crossed behind my back, got butterflies in my eyes. I hope this lasts. I never thought I'd want to say your home is in my heart. It's here you're meant to stay. But I see you and I fall 10 stories inside every single time. That's why I got my fingers crossed behind my back, got butterflies in my eyes. Now I got my fingers crossed behind my back, got butterflies in my eyes. I hope this lasts. Some say love will make you weak, but love can make you strong. Sometimes you cannot speak of the love that makes you leap without a net, getting your feet wet. That's why I got my fingers crossed behind my back, got butterflies in my eyes. Now I got my fingers crossed behind my back, got butterflies in my eyes. I hope this lasts. Got butterflies in my eyes. I'm falling fast. Oh, I got my fingers crossed.
Yeah, I've got my fingers crossed, and I hope you all do too, that you can live a life filled with purpose and happiness and all that kind of stuff. We're going to go to break here at CHHA 1610 AM. We'll be back with more of Elizabeth Spevack, and she's got something that you can get for free to get you started, and we'll talk about that right after the break.
You are listening to Radio Voces Latinas, 1610 AM. A drink of water.
Yeah, we're here with Elizabeth Spevack, life coach and founder of Heart and Soul Living, and you can go to heartandsoulliving.com. Now, Elizabeth, you have a way to get people started.
Yes. If people go to the website, they can sign up right away for... It's a PDF document that they'll get about how the way we think affects what we see.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, sometimes we get stuck in all or nothing thinking. I know I've been guilty of this. If something's not perfect, then what's the point in even trying? It's not worth it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, all or nothing thinking, or even the words we use. Like sometimes we ask people, how are you doing? It's like, oh, terrible. Or they come up with some negative way of saying it, and the words we use really reinforce how we look at things.
I've even heard that to ask a person, how are you, is not necessarily a good thing to say. Like maybe, so nice to see you, because you may just be triggering them,
Who knows?
Who knows?
But on the website I have how some of these thinking patterns can keep us stuck and how to start breaking through them as a starting point.
As a starting point. And then if they like, they can continue to they can contact you, and if they want any more help.
Exactly. They can either email me directly at elizabeth@heartandsoulliving.com, and I'd be delighted to receive questions or comments, and we can have conversations where applicable.
Absolutely.
And also to receive my newsletter with articles where I talk about different things that we've been talking about today.
And that's a free newsletter?
It's free newsletter.
That's great.
100% free.
Yeah. I think that's marvelous. And I know you do. You also do have a blog, don't you? Or is that part of that newsletter
it's part
thing?
Of the
it's
newsletter.
sort of like the whole thing's together.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I've read some of the things you write, and they're truly inspirational and uplifting, but not in a sappy way, No, because it's real, which I like.
Exactly. It took me a long time to reach that point. Like when we started our conversation this evening, like for so many years, like I said, I was so ashamed, and I kept so much deep within. And then it was like I don't know exactly what happened, but all of a sudden it became very clear to me that there's so many people that are feeling shame and keeping things hidden. And I wanted people to know that they're not alone. Maybe our experiences aren't exactly the same, but there's enough overlap. People will see that they're not alone. Maybe some tips and strategies to help them. And I don't say like I have all the answers, but I've definitely, thankfully, learned a lot along the way. And I really try to convey that in a very real and human way in my writing, in my speaking, in my day-to-day living as well.
Well, you've been totally articulate tonight and very, very clear. And we're going to be going actually out in about 2 minutes. Time flies. And so definitely go to heartandsoulliving.com and sign up to get that free article at PDF about how to get started, and sign up for the free newsletter. And if that's all you do, that'll be good. But certainly, Elizabeth, you're a lovely person to speak with, and I think I'm going to sign up. I know I'm definitely signing up.
It's been a pleasure speaking with you
Oh,
too.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Mati Solomon, for sharing your beautiful, beautiful voice and music. And what a lovely couple you are. And you see, people think they're not going to find that special person. You may not find them when you're in high school or in their 20s or 30s, and that's okay. At 62, I'm still looking. Someday my prince will come. No. Anyway, enough of that. We're going to go out with Blair Packham's Other Side, also a thematic song, and with this inspirational music, and enjoy. And we'll be back again next week with more of A Drink of Water. And, of course, after our program, we have the Punjabi program. And, wow, that's terrific. And also, I was going to say, too, I must say, on the 24th of March, I'll be here for Monsignor Oscar Arnulfo Romero's commemoration, and definitely that's going to be a very important thing here at 2981 Dufferin Street, here at San Lorenzo. So hope to see you then. And we're out. She was Blair Packham, Other Side.
People get ready, I might be unsteady, been walking a straight but narrow line. It's time for a change, time to make new arrangements. I wanna go back to the other side of life, the other side. The glass was half empty, surrounded by plenty. I was making up reasons to grouse and gripe. I finally decided to give in and try it. I'd better aspire to the other side of life, the other side. I tried walking alone for some time. I'm trying to find my way home. All the signs I see keep leading me back to the other side. Day to day, whether it's the saint or the sinner, I watch them parade with a bitter grin. I envy the thunder of hundred-hit wonders in the warmth of the sun on the other side of life, the other side. I tried walking alone for some time. I'm trying to find my way home. All the signs I see keep leading me back to the other side. To the other side. Now I look for good omens and teachable moments. I bet my whole life on a shooting star. I'm happy to say in my own modest way that I seem to have crossed to the other side of life, the other side. I tried walking alone for some time. I'm trying to find my way home. All the signs I see keep leading me back to the other side. To the other side. Tried walking alone to the other side. Find my way home. Keep the signs I see keep leading me back to the other side. To the other side. To the other side.
CHHA 1610 AM, Radio Voces Latinas, the first and only Hispanic radio station in Canada from Toronto to the world.